beginning share a picture. I don't know if you can see it from where you are. It's a picture I received one day, it's 18th of June, about 18 years ago. And if you look closely to it, it's about a man or a person falling, and some black eyes in the top, and there's a sort of angel-like of being. You see that? I get it wrong. This picture was given to me from a co-worker from me after one day I was fired after 10 years working for a very remarkable company where I worked 10 years. 160 people were without boss. And yeah, I got this picture. Her friend made it for me the same day when the message came that I had to leave. And what I have to add is a couple of weeks later, my wife at that time told me I had to leave. So it was a double being fired. The chance of that is that I met my new wife, so but I'm not going to tell this story. The reason why I show you this picture is that something happened in last fall which reminded me strongly of this picture. I didn't look at it so much the last years, but when this happened to me, it reminded me of this picture, what happened to me. I'm self-employed, I'm doing leadership and organizational development, and I had a full half year till summer, and I knew that some of my projects would go to an end. It was clear. But then no new ones came. So at the end of October, I ended up with no work. And this was after being 15 years in the role, 13 years of self-employed. Really, I came in a deep depression, I would say, of not knowing what's going to happen. After being 57, this is the end of my career. Does this mean I have to quit? I have to look for a job? I looked at job ads, etc. I had a whole list of things I could do, ideas I have, but there was no energy. I knew what to do, but there was no energy. I didn't have any energy of doing anything. And then there was a holiday planned with my wife on the Canary Island in a very remote place. And I felt a bit unsafe. What happens when it gets worse, when I'm there? So I went to my family doctor and told her I want a prescription of antidepressants, because if something goes wrong there, I don't want to cope. My wife with this problem, so. And she said, oh, this won't help, but I can write the prescription. It won't help so quickly, but it's safe for you. And then she told me a story, and she said, listen, I know her for quite a while. She said, I told her my story, what happened with me, and she said, I give you advice. Stop doing anything. No sports, nothing. Just be in the nothing. I said, what? Yeah, nothing. And she said, then the clients who belong to you will come back to you. I couldn't really believe her. I said, no, sports. I don't want to stop sport. I love sports. I love sailing. I love swimming. But all the rest I stopped. So I really went into the nothing. And I explored new things. I had some refugee work, and one important thing happened, which was a turnaround moment. It was here. It was over there. I don't know why I get emotional with that situation, but I'm at Niels. Niels is the founder of the Hub. I know him for 7 years. And I read an article in the newspaper about what's going on with the Hub. I said, I have to meet him. I have to get to know what's going on with this thing. And he told me where the Hub went through in the last 7 years. And I said, hey, I need to change my work environment. I'm too alone there where I am. I have a beautiful office. But I need to get more in contact with other people. And then one day later, he wrote me a mail and sent me to, invited me for a meetup of responsive org about teal, beyond teal, which is one of my issues. And I met Simon. Simon is 28. He's as old as my oldest son. So I got a friend with him, so I invited him for work. I did all sorts of things together with him. And a couple of weeks later, I don't know what happened, but somehow it became clear what I want and what I don't want anymore as a consultant. I don't know exactly what happened, but at a certain moment it became clear what I want. Where do I stand for? So the title of my story, of my little story, is Fractures and the Chance of Renewal. So being at this breaking point of not knowing anymore what's going on and holding it, not just going and with goals and all sorts of ambitions, but leave my ego, leave my ambitions, leave everything, and going into the nothing and holding it. This is what I want to do, where I want to be as a consultant, and not just being there to stabilize or to do nice things. The funny thing is, 2 days after this became clear to me, I wrote it down in an article for myself. And 1 day later, another Simon called me and gave me the first mandate after a long time. And he knows my story. So he said, Mark, this could fit to you because this person has made an incredible transition itself. So I thought, I got goosebumps because I said, hey, well, that's strange. At the moment I am clear, there comes an answer for something. So I met this woman, and to finish the story, she's transgender. I've never met a transgender person in my life, personally. So she moved from a Norbert to an Angela. And I could share this story with her. So I told my story, also this story, to her in my first talk. And yeah, she wants to work with me further on. So this was the starting point of more and more mandates. So I'm optimistic. Thank you for sharing.
All right, thank you very much, Mark. We've got to kind of move forward because we've still got one